I'm late to the party with the fight announcement. I was in the middle of working. I was kind of busy actually. I had a moment to look at my phone when I saw that there was a fight announcement by Dana White. So UFC 323 in Las Vegas is looking like it's going to be a good one. Main event, they just announced Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan. They also announced, if I'm not mistaken, in the co-main event, Alejandro Pantoja versus Joshua Van. And then they announced another fight that caught my interest was Payton Talbot versus Henry Cejudo. So I'm going to give a sneak peek into how I feel these fights are going to play out at UFC 323. So yeah, starting off with, what should we start off with? The main event, or should we start off with the main, with Talbot Cejudo? I'll start out with Talbot Cejudo. We'll work our way up to the main event. Excuse me, I'm having some coffee in the middle of the day, but I am very surprised that Payton Talbot is getting such a step up in competition. They are not easing him into competition at all. I thought they were going to give him the superstar treatment, the Dana White treatment, the Sugar Sean treatment, if I do say so myself, where they give you a bunch of tune-up fights, they get you on a win streak, they get you confident, they get you seasoned, and then they throw you to the wolves. You know, Sean O'Malley had like 5 or 6 fights before he fought Petr Yan. And Payton Talbot, 3 or 4 fights into his career, has fought some tough guys. I mean, he took that loss a few months back, and then he got in there with the Brazilian cat. I forgot his name, but that was a tough fight. Payton Talbot was actually an underdog going into that fight. And now they give him Henry Cejudo after 1 win. I don't see the logic, but they're not taking it easy on him. I don't know if the UFC's homophobic. I don't know if Dana White doesn't like the LGBT community and they want to get him out of here quick, but they are not taking it easy on Payton Talbot. They're giving him Olympic gold medalist, Triple C, 2-division UFC champion, Henry Cejudo. Granted, Henry Cejudo is a little bit on the downside. I don't think anyone disagrees that Cejudo is on the down. He is on a losing streak right now. But he just fought for the title not so long ago, and that was a close fight. He arguably won that fight and could have been the 135 champ. So the fact that they're giving him a young cat in Talbot is pretty interesting. I haven't had much time to think about it, but just early reaction to it, I'm gonna have to say, I mean, Payton Talbot looked really good in his last fight in the grappling. I don't know if you guys remember his last fight with the Brazilian dude. I'm just kind of blanking on his name, but that was a good fight. He showed really good defensive wrestling, and he showed good defensive jiu-jitsu. But Cejudo, I think Cejudo's a little bit small. He's out of shape. He's old. I think he's kind of has one foot out the door. It's a tough one. I don't know how I see this fight going, but I'm gonna lean towards Henry Cejudo on the experience. It's a shame that they're throwing in Payton Talbot so soon. They're throwing him in there too soon, man. I would have given him another unranked opponent. You're putting him in there with an Olympic champ and gold medalist. I think Henry Cejudo goes in there and asserts his dominance. I think he asserts his experience. I think he makes it look relatively easy. I have Henry Cejudo going in there and winning by decision. I think it's going to be like a 30-27, 29-28 decision. I don't think it's going to be tough for him. I don't think Henry Cejudo will want to engage on the feet. I know Henry Cejudo has that karate style. He has decent hands, but I see Henry Cejudo going in there and kind of making it look easy and putting him away in a decision. 30-27, pretty comfortable win. Sorry about that. Got rudely interrupted by some clients. How dare they? But where was I? I think I was covering the 323 fights. And yeah. So the next fight that got announced is Pantoja versus Joshua Van. I'm not gonna lie, this fight is very hype. It's very hype because we have the potential to put this little scum away. I don't like Pantoja. He's arrogant. I feel like he hasn't even fought that difficult of contenders. He had a tough fight versus Moreno, which I thought he lost, and Moreno broke his hand in the first round. Moreno couldn't throw that right hand for the entire fight, and he arguably won. And after that, he's been fed these little fraud opponents. I mean, think about it. He fought the Asian cat. That was easy. I mean, he lost to Tim Elliott, for goodness sake. Like, what are we talking about? And then he fought versus Kai Kara France, who, quite frankly, looked like an amateur out there. I just don't believe in Pantoja, and I don't like the fact that he's so arrogant, even though he hasn't proved much. I have Joshua Van in this fight because I believe in the younger man's potential. I know you get that, you keep getting stronger up until like your 40s and 30s and shit, but I think Pantoja is going to be stronger in there. But I trust Joshua Van's skill, his instincts. I trust his hands. And like I said, I'm not that high on Pantoja in the first place. I just don't feel like he's a weight bully. He hasn't been tested, and he's going to get tested by Joshua Van because Joshua Van is a dog. Give me Joshua Van by decision or by TKO round 2 through 4. 2, 3, or 4. Give me that. Joshua Van by decision or TKO 2, 3, or 4. I think he gets it done maybe in a 49, 46. I see him winning 4 rounds, maybe 48, 47. I'm more confident 49, 50, 46. I wouldn't even be surprised if he wins 50, 45, but I have maybe Pantoja gets him down 1 round and backpacks him to a 10-9 in like the second or first round. But yeah, that's how I see that playing out. I have Joshua Van. I'm not really high on Pantoja. He's not even in my current top 10 pound for pound. Call me crazy, but I just think he lost. I think he lost to Moreno with 1 hand. Like, how can you be the champion if you lost to your number 1 contender who had 1 hand? You know, so give me Joshua Van. And for the main event of the evening, Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan. I mean, we've seen this fight before. Has Petr Yan gone astronomically or even marginally better since the last fight? Call me crazy, but I think not. I think Petr Yan is technically, practically the exact same guy that fought him the first time. I mean, think about it. At that time, he was fresh out of the title scene. He had the experience, he had the hands, he had the youth, he had pretty much everything that he has now. And when you look at Merab, since then, Merab has gotten much better, okay? It's crazy that I'm talking about Merab. I was just covering Merab last week for UFC 320, and now I'm talking about him again. Like, what the fuck is going on? Merab he is on the verge of being the number 1 contender, the number 1 pound for pound in the world over Topuria and Islam. This guy is crazy. 4 title defenses in a calendar year. This is not a real person that we are dealing with. He gets better as the fight goes on. He gets better as the months go by. He's implemented some stand-up into his game. He almost put away Corey Sandhagen. Do you understand that Corey Sandhagen is the same guy who fucking blasted Frankie Edgar's head into the fucking stratosphere? The same guy that beat the bantamweight GOAT in many people's eyes and TJ Dillashaw. He didn't get the judge's nod, but most people know that he won that fight. He dominated the fight in every aspect, the ground and the stand-up. And Merab put a fucking whooping on Corey Sandhagen. On the feet. What are we talking about here, bro? Merab has gotten so much better since their fight. Yan hasn't made much improvement since their last fight. And their last fight was a 50-45 unanimous decision. What are we talking about? This is going to be the 4th title defense for Merab this year. I have no shadow of a doubt that Merab puts him in the blender again, takes him down, punches his face off, boom, takedown, shoot, up, down. If there is a line for takedowns, that shit's going to be like at fucking 12.5 takedowns. He is going to make light work of Petr Yan. Merab Dvalishvili on December 7th, I think the day after the fight card, will stamp himself as the best fighter in the UFC pound for pound. 4 title defenses in a year, 15-fight win streak, already the most takedowns in UFC history. He's going to be chasing that win streak record in UFC history. I mean, Merab. He is a different level different caliber athlete like we've never seen before. And I think he goes on, and I think he goes on to beat Umar. I think he can beat Pantoja in a super fight. I would favor him against whoever the 45 champion is at the time. If it's Volkanovski or Lerone Murphy or Evloev or Diego Lopez or John Silva. He's quite frankly the scariest guy in the UFC right now in terms of just like, he is the scariest guy in terms of like, how do I beat him? You know, there's scarier guys like you have Hamza, where you're like, oh, this guy might take me down and fucking break my jaw with a neck crank. You have Pereira, where he's walking you down and you're like a fucking deer in headlights. But when it comes to just like, I don't think I can beat this guy. This guy is just a winner. Merab Dvalishvili is really like, who is more of a winner than he is, you know? So give me Merab in that. I know it's some early predictions. My opinions might change. I might make another prediction video as we get near the fight card. But yeah, UFC 323 has some fight announcements I wanted to cover. Like I said, Merab over... Early impressions is Merab over Yan, Cejudo over Talbot, and Joshua Van. We will put away Alejandro Pantoja. We will put away Pantoja. Alright guys, but yeah, I'll catch you on the next video. As always, free Kane.